I'm Pat Zerke, the director of Cambridge Forum, and I am delighted to welcome you to this discussion with Iyad Burnat about nonviolent resistance in Palestine. The forum will be moderated by Trina Jackson, a social justice activist who first met Iyad Burnat at a demonstration when she was part of the Third African Heritage Delegation to Palestine. Trina has nearly 20 years of community-based experience as an organizer, facilitator, and strategist in the social justice movement.
I'm Trina Jackson, and I am very honored to be your moderator this evening. So let me introduce and tell you a little bit more about Iyad, our freedom fighter. Iyad Burnat was born in the West Bank village of Bil'in in 1973, and he still lives there today. Since 2005, he has led citizens of Bil'in, joined by Israeli and international activists from all over the world, in weekly nonviolent demonstrations against the confiscation of Palestinian land, the destruction of their olive trees, Israel's illegal separation wall, and the encroachment of illegal settlements. The protesters have maintained a commitment to nonviolent resistance in the face of really strong armed military opposition. The demonstrations are the subject of a 2012 Oscar-nominated documentary film, Five Broken Cameras, which was produced by Iyad's brother, Emad Burnat. So what motivates this nonviolent approach? How has it been successful? What are the strategies that he uses? How has he brought potential adversaries to share his goal of peace, prosperity, and justice for all people?
Good evening, everybody. And thank you for coming. I am very happy to be with you to talk about our nonviolent struggle, to show our message to you and to many people, especially here in the United States. I am Iyad Burnat from Bil'in, the head of the Popular Committee Against the Wall and Settlements. I want to take Bil'in as a case of the nonviolent resistance, that we have a lot of resistance now in many villages by this way, nonviolent resistance. We have 15 places in Palestine that's doing the weekly demonstration after our succeed in Bil'in. So Bil'in is a small village. 2,000 people live in Bil'in. The land of the village is about 4,000 dunums. When they started to build the apartheid wall in our land, they confiscated 2,300 dunums from the land of the village. It's about 60% from the land. Most of the people in the villages are farmers, that they used to have the olive trees as in there is economy and there is life. When they started December 2004, they started to build or to work in the road of the apartheid wall. They destroyed about 1,000 olive trees. In the same time, they was building the new settlement called Mitityahu Mizrah on the land of the village also. It means that they started to destroy the life of the people in this village, as a small village, a farmer village. When we talk about the olive trees, it's a big mean for Palestinian farmers. First, the olive tree is a symbol for the Palestinians. It's the food for the families. When you came and destroyed olive tree that's more than 500 to 1,000 years old, for the farmer, it means that you kill his son. So we refused that as a farmers in Bil'in, and we went out against these bulldozers who destroyed our olive trees. We started December 2004 to try to stop them. And it was every day, the demonstrations in the beginning. Every day the farmers was going from morning at evening, try to stop these bulldozers to destroy the land. Until February 2005, we decided to have the demonstration in Friday as a weekly demonstrations, the main demonstration. It was in other days, a lot of actions, a lot of direct action, creative ideas. Sorry. But also the main demonstration that everybody in the world now know about it is Friday demonstration in Bil'in. We use the non-violent way in our struggle. Every day, every week, we have internationally from all over the world join us in these demonstrations. We have Israeli activists who's coming and join us in this demonstration. We put ourselves in cages, in barrels, in cylinders. We tie ourselves in the olive trees. We're fighting by our bodies, week after week, day after day. And it's not easy in this way to lead the people all this time. 10 years of resistance, 10 years every week, we never stop any of our demonstrations. Sometimes the demonstration will be 100 people, sometimes 3,000 people. But we never stop any week demonstration, despite the curfew or the winter or the rain or the hot. Every week we have our demonstrations. They try to do a curfew against us. You know what's the curfew? Nobody can go out of his home. And they try to do it from the beginning, in Friday days, from morning. But we succeed to break the curfew also, by our children, by our music. We went out to the streets with our music and we break this curfew and we went to our demonstrations. In other side, we have a lot of violence from the Israeli soldiers that use against us. From the beginning, they tried to break us because they know that this way, of non-violent way, it's affected the Israeli army. By this way, we can win. By this way, we can succeed. They know that. Because they use a lot of violence against us to break us from the beginning. They're starting to beating us in the demonstration, to arrest us. They use many kinds of weapons. That's illegal to use it against the people in the demonstrations. Many kinds, many names. We didn't know also sometimes the names of the weapons that they use it against us. Tear gas canister, rubber coat steel bullets, salt bullets, sponge bullets, many weapons that they, fasulia, don't know. Chemical things also. They was spray us every week by a chemical things. They collect it together. It make a very bad smell. You have to throw your clothes out. You have to wash yourself many times to get this chemical things from your body. And also it's a danger for the land and for the trees. They use the tear gas canisters. And you know, in Israeli propaganda, sometimes they play by the words. They said we use tear gas and rubber bullet against the Palestinians in the demonstrations. It's not a tear gas and rubber bullet. It's a tear gas canister. It's a rocket. Rubber coat steel bullet. It's covered by a little rubber. It's a metal. It's danger more than the live bullet. And because this, we have a big number of our friends who's been killed in non-violent demonstrations. We have around the villages who's doing the non-violent way, we have 40 people who's been killed. Most of them is the children. And all these weapons, it's made in the United States. The tear gas canisters that they kill our friend Bassem Abu Rahma, on 17 of April 2009. It's illegal first to use it against the people. They have to use it in 500 meters in the sky. It's very heavy, black. You cannot see it when it comes to you. The American army was used to broken something heavy, windows, to attack some place, because when it's hit some place, it's get the tear gas out. They shot our friend Bassem in 20 meters. It's make a big hole in his chest. He's died in the place. The same way that kill many people by these weapons. Our friend from Nabi Saleh Mustafa Tamimi, they shot him in 1 meter. They broken all his face by this tear gas canisters. So many of our friends who's been killed by these weapons. In Bil'in, we have 1,300 people who's been injured, and they have problems. Many of them, they have problems in their body because of these weapons. And they use it against the international, against the Israelis activists also. And you know our friend Tristan Anderson from California, that he's been get a tear gas canister when he was taking photos in the demonstration. And you know, he's in bad situation until now. He's in wheelchair. They broken his brain by this tear gas. This is just the weapons that they use it against us. 1st of January 2011, we lost Bassem's sister, Jawahir Abu Rahma, in the same way, in nonviolent demonstration. Because in this way, we have everybody join us. We have the children, the women, the men, the old men, everybody, all the farmers, all the families go against the wall and against the bulldozers. So this is the way how they treated the people. It's not just the weapons, the night raids. And this is the hard part, I think, of the violence, that they use it against the village. You cannot imagine how 200 soldiers inside of a small village cover their faces with big guns, with dogs, at the middle of the night, broken the doors, enter the houses, wake everybody up. Just because we're doing our Friday demonstration, our non-violent demonstration. It's happened in my home many times, and I have 5 children. You cannot explain how much the children feel when they saw a soldiers wake him up when they are sleeping. It's scared the old people. How is the children? So we have a lot of problems for the children. Since 10 years, the children who grow with the faces of the soldiers, with the violence of the Israeli soldiers in this time. And it's not one night a year or one night a month. Sometimes it was every night. When they came, they start to throw tear gas everywhere at the middle of the night. Sound bombs under the windows. Just 2-3 nights ago, they was in the village. I was here and my friends sent me photos. I know what they're doing because I been there. But many people, they didn't know when they saw this footage as the soldiers in the night in the village, what they're doing. What they're doing inside of the houses with the kids, with the children. So it's really very hard to explain the feeling of our children when they saw this footage. But in the end, we succeed. 2.5 years later of our weekly demonstration, we succeed to have a decision from the Israeli High Court to remove the wall back 500 meters. It was a big succeed for a small village. It was a victory for us. We went out with all our friends, with all the people in the village, with the women dancing and celebrating, and it was the day that gave us more hope to continue our struggle. It was a big day for Bil'in village. And from that time, we had a lot of villages who follow Bil'in, who starting the weekly demonstration by the non-violent way. Na'lin, Nabi Saleh, Al-Ma'sara, Al-Walaja, all these villages. After a while, we succeed to stop 2,000 apartments in the settlement Metityahu Mizrah that's been built on our land, illegal by the international law and also illegal by the Israelis' law. That we find that later by our lawyers, Israelis' lawyers, and our lawyer Michael Sfard, who was with us in the court about the wall issues, that we find this settlement is illegal by the Israeli law. It's not just was the weekly demonstration. We fight them by there is law. We went to the court, to demonstration, to the media. So we had many ways to fight this wall and this occupation. The Israeli High Court gives a permission for 1,600 apartments for Metityahu Mizrah settlement. The company who was working there, Hafatsiva company, sorry, and the mayor of Kiryat Sefer, or Mudain Elite now, Yaakov Gitterman, they changed the plan and the map of the settlement, and they do it 3,600 apartments. So it's become illegal by the Israeli law. We did know that. So we're starting to fight against the settlement also in that time. Because the court refused our call in the beginning, the first 1 year, and they said the wall is security for the settlement. This is how we succeed. So we take our caravan the first night, and we put it inside of the settlement. Where is our land? Where is our farmland? Of course, the soldiers came at night, they take us, they take the caravan, and they keep us away. Next night, we bring another caravan. We put it in the same place, in our land. We put ourselves inside of the caravan and we close it. They came, they broke in the doors, and they take the caravan again. We ask the officer that you take our caravan and you let the settlers to build houses on our land, and it's illegal by your law. He said, yes, it's illegal, but it's cement and have doors and ceiling, windows. So we need a permission from the court to demolish it. Okay. Next night, we bring our cement, our blocks, in the middle of the night, and we build our room, walls and ceiling and windows. It takes 3 hours for us to build this room. It was raining, December 2005 was raining. We have to make fire inside of the room to get the walls to draw. We catch the ceiling for 2 hours. In the morning, when the soldiers came, they find a room. They get out from the jeeps like crazy, shooting, shouting to us. They want to beat us. So we told them, you need a permission from the court to demolish our house. And this room. It's been there 6 years, and we was going there 24 hours, staying there with our friends, international and Israeli activists, and it's become the center of peace. But later on, after 2012, they demolished it because after they moving the wall, after the room, they demolished this room and they moved the wall. So it was a big succeed for this people, who is a simple people in this small village, to do like this kind of creative ideas. We know that the Israeli army try to scare all the Palestinian people, especially the farmers, to go to their land. And it's happened everywhere. If you go to Palestine area, you will see how much the farmers been beating by the settlers, by the army, they shooting to them. In Bil'in, we succeed to scare, to break this scared inside of the people. You know, once we take our families and we go to live in the settlement, because it's a new settlement and nobody live in these houses yet. So we take our families and we go there. We live in these houses. We put the Palestinian flags on the houses. We take our food and we start cooking like the Palestinians, you know. They take us from these houses. These houses was built where is the farmland that we were live in it. They take us from these houses for security reason, because we are danger for the settlers. After 3 months, they demolished these 2 houses. So this means that we fight them by their law. And we have many succeeds in this small village. We have many lost also, especially in our children, that we have 150 who's been in jail between 4 months to 18 months. And each one have to pay to the court between 2 to 15,000 shekel to break the families. They know that the families, they lost their jobs, they lost their olive trees. To break this movement, they want to break the families by putting more money in the court against them to pay. They use many ways, many strategy to break us, but we continue until now. The last thing that happened, it's a long story. If we want to talk about Bil'in story and what we did in these 10 years, we need to write books. And we're writing one now. So the hard story that's happened in the last few months, when it was the massacre in Gaza, in Bil'in it was the demonstration every day to support and to ask to stop this massacre in Gaza. In 31 of July, I had my son with me. As usual, they're coming to join in the demonstration because they know it's non-violent demonstrations. And after the demonstration ended, we went back to the village. And everybody we didn't have in that time media or international, everybody left back to the village. Usual, I am in the demonstration, I'll be the last one, because I take all the children and everybody in front of me because I didn't want them to be hurt or injured or arrested after we left. And that day, I had my son Majd with me, and we going back, we close to the house. I saw a jeep of the soldiers coming from the hill. The commander come out from the jeep, 30 meters from us, and he just take the gun and shot Majd, my son. So it was a live bullet. So I saw Majd fell down on the ground, shouting, and a lot of blood comes from his back. I thought that the bullet was coming where's his back. We take him to ambulance quickly, and we went to Ramallah. Because of the lot of blood in the ground, in the street, all his friends and in the village was saying that he's died. When we, in our way to the hospital in Ramallah, I had many calls, especially from his mother. I didn't answer all these calls because I didn't know what's the situation. But in the end, I answered his mother and I said, there is nothing happened, he's okay and everything is fine. When we take him to hospital, we find that he's had a damage in his nerve, the main nerve in his leg. So the bullet cut 8 centi from his main nerve. He's lost his foot. He didn't feel or move it. We didn't have a surgery doctor for a nerve in Ramallah Hospital, so we have to take him to Jordan. We take him later to Jordan. It was also a long story in the border with the Israelis that they stopped him for 2 hours, and when we come back, they also stopped him for 2 hours to ask him, and it was really very hard to see that. In Jordan, they told us we have a good professor in Al Maqasid University. He can do Al Maqasid Hospital, He can do this surgery for him. We went back to West Bank. In our way back, the border in Jordan, the Israeli border, they stop him, the Shabak, and they give him a paper to meet the Shabak in his birthday. And he have to go to hospital, to Al Maqasid Hospital, for the surgery, and it's important for him. We applied to a permission for him to take him to the Al Maqasid Hospital, and they refused to give us a permission. For him, it's very important to do this surgery. And there is no other way that's to take him to this hospital. We find in the end, after they refusing to give the ambulance the permission and him also, we find 2 of our friends, Israelis activists, who take him in the middle of the night from other way to Al Maqasid. He succeeded to be there. He spent there 10 days. He did the surgery. We hope he will succeed. But no one of his family was with him. It's not happened, I know, here or in any place in the world that your son did a surgery and no one of his family with him. He's get back to the home after 10 days. and we hope he will be fine, inshallah, soon. He's under treatment until now. He's have to go to Ramallah hospital, in Ramallah for treatment 3 days a week. So this is, in general, what's going on in this small village. As I told you, it's a long story. A brave people that's leading this demonstration for 10 years, every week, sometimes every day. Thank you. And if you have any question, welcome.
Iyad, if you can talk a little bit about nonviolent resistance. And I think maybe for most people in this room, that strategy is very familiar, because many of us are coming from our own histories of activism. But I think that the perception of nonviolent resistance is just, I don't know, that it's just sort of a lot of peacemaking and it's very passive. But it actually, nonviolent resistance is a very active strategy. Can you sort of talk about what is the most important thing for people to understand about why nonviolent resistance is important for Palestinian liberation in the way that you're using it in Bil'in?
I think nonviolent resistance is very hard way and very difficult way than other ways. To lead the people in the street with many ideas, many thinking, many ages, youth, men, women, it's not easy. It's so difficult. But what's the important in the nonviolent resistance? That you can have everybody join you in these actions. Women, men, children, international Israelis activists that can be with you in this action. By this way, you can break the arm of the army. So they cannot use against you planes or rockets or live bullets to kill many people. Yes, we had people who's been injured or arrested or been killed, but it's not like other ways. We have lost, yes, but they also lost. Every week they lost. When they demolished the wall, they lost. When they stopped the settlements, they lost. The biggest company in Israel, it's called Hafatsiva company, we break it. It's broken. And the manager went to Italy and they arrested him there. So they lost. They lost every week. $50,000 every week they lost by using a lot of tear gas and weapons against us. So this way, it's not easy way, but you can, everybody can join it.
And the last quick thing, I met you when I was on the delegation that I took in the fall, and I was really moved by having met your family and meeting your son that was injured. And I was really struck by how you were talking about the impact of the children, on the children, of the night raids and the violence. And how do you talk to children about their futures living under this kind of occupation? And how do other parents in the village talk to their children about what's happening? How do you talk to them about their futures?
I think children is part of our struggle. Our children is part of our nonviolent resistance. Yes, there is a lot of violence against them. But I have, for example, my youngest son now, he's 13 months, but he smelled tear gas maybe 5 times now. So also, it's affected the children. But in the same time, we teach our children how to be in the nonviolent way. Of course, we're fighting for a good future for our children. I am 42 years now, and all my life under the occupation. I am looking for a better future for my children and their children. We're fighting for our children, and they understand that. For example, in the demonstration, the children like to throw stones, sometimes to take their anger out. We teach him they didn't throw stones, not because of the stones is violent, because the soldiers like it. They like when the children throw stones, to give reason to attack the demonstrations. They didn't have a reason to attack us, but in front of the media and in their propaganda. So we teach our children to throw balloons of water, for example, or eggs, or balloons of shit, sometimes. So it's, yes, so to get your angry is, the thinking of the child, it's not, that's the same, the thinking of the old people or the women's, or, so because this I said, it's not easy to lead a people in the ground. It's not a group of soldiers. You tell him go from here or go from here. It's many ideas, many ages that join us in this demonstration. But always we teach him to be in our side.
My name is Nate Goldschlag. I'm Veterans for Peace. Do you see any change, any effect on the Israeli soldiers, these people who do this week after week? Do you see any change in there, or do you see any kind of humanity in the soldiers?
Well, they didn't give us a chance to talk with the soldiers, to make the change. Every time they change the groups of the soldiers. But we have a small group who refused to go to the army that's joined us in the demonstration, the youth that they didn't go to, refusing to go to the army. A small group, they came and joined us in our demonstration. But to be in touch with the soldiers, they know what to do. They have their decision from the commanders, that's to attack the people, to attack the demonstration. Don't talk with the people. And they didn't give us a chance to meet with them or to talk with them. If we succeed to do that, they refuse to talk with us. And this is because of the decisions that comes to their heads. Most of them is a young soldiers. And sometimes they're playing by the weapons. They like to shoot, they like to beat people, because they use a lot of violence against us. So I think there is no change from the soldiers themselves.
I'm Nancy Murray, and Iyad, would you describe some of the creative forms your nonviolent resistance has taken? We just sort of tried to describe for the audience the different methods you have used, different creative forms.
Okay, thank you. The creative ideas that was in weekly demonstration that we carry every time a new message. In weekly demonstration, for example, we did avatar people. You know Avatar? Avatar movie. We make our people look like avatar people, blue, and they lead us, many of them, in the demonstration. In other days, like at early morning, we put ourselves in cage, for example, in front of the bulldozers. We put ourselves in barrels, in cylinders. And this creative ideas was taking all the day for the soldiers to take the people from this gate or from these barrels, or when we type ourselves in the olive trees, when we put ourselves in cylinders, so many ideas that we did in the creative ideas. And it was very important for Bil'in people to have these creative ideas, because we succeed to push all the media to come to see and to watch what's happened in Bil'in. You know, the media like the new photo. So every time was told them we have a new thing. We didn't tell them what, but we tell them that we have a new thing. We find them all coming, waiting for us to see what's the new thing. So it was a lot of creative ideas that we did in our actions.
Hi, I'm Marilyn Levin, and I have two questions. One is, what has been the response from the Palestinian Authority? Did they give you any support? That's the first. And the other is, how widely known is what you're doing and what's happening there among Palestinians in both Israel proper and in the West Bank and Gaza?
Palestinian Authority. Okay. I think there is no contact between the Palestinian Authority and our nonviolent struggle. For many reasons. First, you know, Oslo Agreement. It's cut the Palestinian to pieces, Area A and B and C. Area A, where's the Palestinian Authority control. Area B, where is the villages, and Area C, where is some villages and the land of the Palestinians. So there is no contact between the Palestinian Authority and the people who's living in Area B under the Israelis' control, security. About the support, there is no support from the Palestinian Authority, because there is also agreements that's in Oslo and in security reason that's they didn't support this way because it's touched the Israelis occupation. Or there's agreement, I didn't know, but there is no support or no contact between the Palestinian and the people who's on the ground. The second question.
Yeah, the question was about how much do other Palestinians outside of the West Bank, perhaps in Gaza and other places, know about the weekly demonstrations that you're doing on a regular basis?
I say that in the beginning, that's the nonviolent struggle that didn't start in Bil'in. It was before Bil'in, Budros and Jayus and Salfit and many villages. After Bil'in, we sent this message to be a weekly demonstrations. And we have it now in about 15 places. It's not just the 15 places that's doing the weekly demonstration. We have also gone out of these villages, and we did many direct actions, many activists, many creative ideas. For example, we built Bab al-Shams village in area E1. We built in Hijla village in Jordan Valley. Yes, they was coming after 2 days, 3 days, demolished these villages, arrested the people, but also it was a creative ideas that outside of the villages. We closed the roads of the settlers by our bodies. So all the Palestinians now know about this struggle. In West Bank, in Gaza, and also inside, because the Israelis media, Channel 1 and Channel 2, was coming to take photos for the creative ideas that I talk about, to put ourselves in cages, to type ourselves in the olive trees. It was the Israelis media also, the international media, and the Palestinian media.
I have one quick question before my main question. In which area is Bil'in? A, B, or C?
B and C.
B and C, okay. Okay, my main question is, looking at Palestinian West Bank society as a whole, is their situation getting better over the years, or worse, or staying about the same?
Years, you mean after, in the time of the negotiations, or, yes?
Well, over the past decade or so.
Yeah. Okay, we are in Bil'in, we are in area B and C. The house is area B, the land, and some houses in area C. About the situation, it's good more and more wars. If we going back to 1993, in the time of Oslo Agreement, until now, it's about 22 years of the negotiation. It's become more wars for the Palestinian. From that time until now, we have about 10,000 Palestinians who's been killed. 600,000 settlers living in West Bank in this time of the peace issues, time of negotiation. 12% of the land, of the historic land of Palestine, that's left after the wall for the Palestinians. And it's also cut, they cut it to the pieces, containers. This is the situation in Palestine. Inside of West Bank area, more than 500 checkpoints. The walls, the gates. If you want to go from Ramallah to Jenin, it's easy to go to Heathrow airport than to go to Jenin. Yes. It's really, you need 1 day to go from Ramallah to Bethlehem because of the checkpoints and because of the walls, because of this thing. So there is no more West Bank. That's we can see.
Thank you.
Hi. I was there a couple times, but once right before there was a big conference. It was actually right a couple weeks after Tristan was shot and the Monday after Bassam was killed, for a big conference where people came from throughout the West Bank. Also, Emad Burnat was there and spoke. They read a letter from President Carter. And I'm wondering if you could tell me about those. Are those still happening at that point? I think it was maybe the fourth one. Can you tell me a little bit, or tell us a little bit about those conferences that happened in Bil'in? Are they still happening? And are there other ways in which the internationals are involved in your struggle and ways that we can be of more assistance to you here in the United States?
Yes, we did the annual conference in our village. It started in 2006 until 2011. After removing the wall, it was the last conference that we did. We're thinking to do, last year we didn't have one. We're thinking to do a big one next year.
What was it called again? Can you remind me the name of it? The international...
Bil'in International Conference for Nonviolent Resistance. Yes. And we have many people who have Nobel Peace Prize, famous people who's coming to Bil'in to visit, not just to the conference. We have, I met, for example, Jimmy Carter in Bil'in. We explained to him, we take him to the wall. He said, this is apartheid wall, this is illegal settlements, and it was all the media also there. We had Tuzman Tutu in the village. People who have Nobel Peace Prize, many members in European Parliament, from England also. There is members in the Parliament, they came to Bil'in, but no one from the Congress here yet.
Yet.
So, yes, so it's important for us, the international, to be there. First, they can see by their own eyes what's going on. Second, they are our messengers outside. We didn't like to the people. We want them to come and to see what's going on there.
And are there other ways in which you would like us to help you?
In the United States, to stop your aid.
We're working on it.
I think the big problem for the Palestinian is the aid that comes from the United States. If we talk about the aid, we think that's United States is part of the occupation. When you see the weapons in nonviolent demonstration, and we have the children sometimes or the people collect the weapons to play, they find that's made in the United States. $3.5 billion a year it goes to the Israeli army And all of us know where this money goes. The companies who destroyed the land, it's American companies. In political issues, 42 vetoes against the Palestinian case from United States. So when you as a Palestinian think, what's going on? It's part of the occupation. And I think you have to work hard here to stop this tax dollar to go to kill us and to destroy our life, because it's your money. This is the important thing that have to be here in the United States.
Hi, my name is Pat. You mentioned that the settlement near your village is intruding on your village in terms of taking your olive trees and your land. I'm wondering if the settlement is also taking away your homes. And if it's taking away your homes, is there a refugee problem in your village, and what is happening to them? Where are they going?
No, when they start to build the settlement, Mr. Mizrah, they closed the main road that's going to Bil'in village. The main road that we going to the city, to Ramallah city and other villages, they close it, and we open a new road to go to other villages and to Ramallah. There is no way between us and between them, because there is the wall now, but they are still on our land, and the wall also still on our land. And there is no refugees in our village, and thanks God, no one until now leave the village.
Hi. Since you began your protests, have you seen many people within your ranks give up on nonviolence? And how can you and do you, to the best of your ability, keep people from turning to violence?
Sorry, you can replay.
Since you began your Friday protests, or even when it was every day, have you seen many people within your ranks give up and turn to violence? And part two is, how can you and do you, to the best of your ability, keep your protesters from turning to violence?
In general, Bil'in is a peaceful village. We didn't have any violence in Bil'in before the wall, and also in the demonstration. That's Bil'in people is a peaceful people. They welcome everybody. If you go there, you will feel that's a lot of respect from these people for everybody who's come from outside, international Israelis activists. So it's inside of these people, the nonviolent resistance, the peaceful. And all the people who live in the village who's join us in this demonstration. It's not every week, but all of them join us. All of them. We didn't have anyone in one day who's came, stand, and said, I am against you. We never have this. Some people didn't go to demonstration because of there is personal thing, not because they are against. Also, we have many people comes from outside of the village to join us, from near villages that came to join us in these demonstrations. I said it's sometimes the demonstration will be 100, sometimes 3,000. The important that we continue our demonstrations. In this February, the last demonstration there was 1,000 people. So the people still coming, and the people, after 10 years, it's not easy to have 1,000 people in the demonstration, but we make it. That means the people believe in this way. That means the people have hope to continue to have their freedom next week, because we do it next week, every week.
Hi, my name's Claire. I'm wondering what your relationship is with the heads of other popular resistance committees in different villages. For example, do you come together to have kind of an all West Bank popular resistance committee? And do you have consultation between the different committees? If somebody's thinking about starting a protest, they come to you and say, hey, what worked for you? What have you done? Can we come to your demonstration and see what's going on? Or are things much more separate than that?
No, in each village we have a popular committee. The popular committees is open for everybody to join, to be member in these committees. This in each village. In all the villages, we have the steering committee. And we have meetings each week or 2 weeks in Ramallah area. That we have from each village a member in this steering committee that lead the demonstration. And each village who want to start new, we will have a new member from this village. And we discuss what we're going to do. We can do the same idea, the same demonstration in all these villages because we have this committee. And also we're going outside with this committee by these people to do a demonstration outside of these villages.
Thank you.
As you know, not everybody who feels oppressed and has a grievance selects nonviolence. As you look back, what were your inspirations to select nonviolence over violence to address the oppression that you have felt in your life? And secondly, for folks who are aggrieved, what would be the most persuasive argument that you would offer them to indeed select nonviolence as a way of addressing their oppression versus violence?
Yes, for me, I believe in the non-violent way. I believe in peaceful way. I joined the first Intifada, and the first Intifada was a popular Intifada, in non-violent way. I've been arrested when I was a child for 2 years. So I started my life joining this protest, this non-violent way. I read about the struggle of Mahatma Gandhi and Martin Luther King and Nelson Mandela that's been succeed in their way of non-violent resistance. And also I believe that this way is more effective the occupation, because the occupation is standing on 3 legs. The 3 important legs that standing is first the army, the economy, and the media. This is the 3 legs that the occupation stand on it. And just by this way, we can fight them. How? We can break the arm of the army by this way. So in non-violent demonstration, you need a lot of soldiers to stop you. If it's happened in 30, 50 villages in the same time, you need all the Israel's army to stop you. The economy, you can fight them by the BDS movement, and it's grow everywhere now in Europe, in the United States, in Palestine. Third, the media. Media and the propaganda is very important. that we're fighting the media by you, by our media, by our international who's came and support us in these villages, by international who's came and see by their own eyes what's going on in the ground. This is our messengers outside. We know that your media, they didn't tell you the truth. They're lying to you. We know that. We know that the media is controlled by the Zionists in this country. And they didn't show anything about this. I've been here in the time of the war in Gaza. November 2012. It was just 3 days of war. They killed 125 Palestinians in 3 days, and I didn't hear that here in the United States. So why? You have to ask your media why they're lying to you, why they didn't show really what's going on in the ground, why they didn't show the nonviolent resistance in Palestine. So because this, we believe in this way. I believe that it will be affected more than other ways. I believe that this way it will be a good future for my children and their children. By nonviolent way, we can make the peace.
Well, you are certainly a wonderful spokesperson for the Palestinians, and I hope you have a chance to travel throughout America telling your story, and hopefully there'll be enough Americans who will listen, and maybe something will be done by the American government. My question to you is how difficult was it for you to be able to leave the West Bank and come here, and then in terms of the roadblocks the Israelis and even the American government might have put to stop you from coming in the United States? And do you plan to spend a few more weeks here, a month, and visiting other cities, giving this talk, hopefully to many more areas in the United States?
Yeah, it's not easy. It's very difficult to travel also from Palestine outside, not just for me, for all the Palestinians. The first time that I came to America after 5 years of apply to the visa, the first. Second, when I came, they stopped me. They returned me from the bridge. But also it was a good response from our friends here, because I was coming to a conference, a big conference to Michigan in that time. It was a good response from the people that sent a lot of message to Jordanian embassy. So in this time it was Jordan. Before, one time it was the Israelis. I was going to Switzerland, and I had invitation from the mayor of Geneva in that time. And the Israelis returned me. The response was very good from the Swiss people. They sent a lot of message. The mayor of Geneva sent message. After 2 days, they told me you can't travel. And it doesn't happen for the Palestinians. But because of the lot of pressure on the embassy, and they didn't want more problem with the foreign, with outside people, they let me go out. Same was happened with the Jordanian. After 2 days, I had a call from the embassy from DC. I was in West Bank. They called me that I can travel. It was, I don't know, the same names or something like this. And the ambassador in Ramallah, he called me, the Jordanian ambassador, that I can travel now if I want. Because of a lot of messages that get to, but of course, if I want to travel, this time I have to travel before 2 days to Jordan, because I need 1 day in the bridge, where is the borders, and 1 day to stay to wait for the plane, because the plane will be in the second day in 12. I cannot travel in the same day. like everybody. So I have to leave 3 days before or 2 days to get the plane.
And how long do you plan to spend in the United States now? And do you plan to go to maybe Washington, D.C. or New York?
This is the 4th tour for me in United States. This time will be 1 month. I already spent 1 week and I need more 3 weeks traveling in different cities, in DC, in Atlanta, California, Providence, Chapel Hill, so it's still many meetings. Thank you.
I know you said that things are worse, but is there anything that gives you hope? I'm thinking about the student activism we're seeing in the United States, the election, though none of us like Netanyahu, but he actually revealed how much of a liar he is in trying to get elected. The parliaments in Europe are voting to recognize Palestine as a state, and I believe today the ICC voted or approved Palestine's membership. So those are some of the things that seem hopeful to me. Oh, and the joint list, how the Palestinian parties in Israel got together. Those things seem hopeful to me, but I'm wondering you there, if you are not thinking those are such hopeful signs.
Thank you. I don't believe in political people. Yes, I am a simple man. My people is a farmers. And we want to see change on the ground. We was believing the political people in the past. If you remember when Obama talked in Cairo, it was a good speech for him. He gave us some hope. But we see after that a lot of more money to the army, the Israeli army. So we want to see change on the ground. This is our goal. We want to see freedom, not just talks here or there. Because this, we didn't believe any political. We have hope to end the occupation next week by our resistance, but not from the mouth of the political people. Because this, we do it every week.
Any more questions? I guess I can pose one final question before we wrap up in a few minutes. I also have a similar question in the hope vein. And I know that you're in the middle of a tour, but you've been in front of a few audiences. And if you can just kind of share anything that inspires you or gives you hope, even from the audiences that you've been in front of so far. Like, what have you noticed just about who you're speaking to and the questions that you're getting? What are you encouraged by in these dialogues?
I think you have to have the hope always in your life. Hope is a very nice thing to get you to your goal. When I sit with you and I see all these members of people that support Palestine and working for peace, the real peace, it's gives us hope. When I saw the difference between 2012 and now in the United States, it's give us hope that the media start on the ground to talk about the Palestinian case. I saw the Students for Justice in Palestine in all universities in the United States. I saw at least five universities divest. I saw the BDS movement is grow. So it's give us hope to continue also. When I go to my people, I will say that's many of our friends in the United States that support us. and it's grow. And I hope it will be more and more people will understand what's going on.
Iyad Burnat, thank you very, very much.
The grassroots activism has been typified as deeply partisan when you're saying access to the ballot. And that's part of the difficulty for grassroots groups, because voter ID is now, if you're for it, you're a Republican, and if you're against it, a Democrat.